And we
Hi,
are
everybody.
coming live from our beautiful soulful love connections series with the topic codependency and independence. How do we actually balancing individuality and partnership, and why is this important? Elle.
It's, you know what, Irina? It's a dance. You have to be very conscious about and knowing exactly what your needs are. Communication is the key. And if anything happens and you feel that you're not being heard or seen, communicating that. Also, uh, looking on your behavior and see if that incident made you go back to your past, because a lot the codependency, it's a lot to do with your past experiences. So if you feel that or you're in that space that you become dependent, question yourself, why is this? Why am I reacting or acting to this interaction this way? um, it needs, as I said, it's like a dance. You have to, like, make sure that you're dancing in the right way and you know where you're going. And it's all about being honest with yourself and your partner.
It's very well said. You know what comes for me? I think a lot of dependency comes from our childhood
Yes.
when people like I was very fortunate because I was raised in a very loving family. Like my parents loved me a lot, so they always I mean my mom criticized me, but I remember like when I was still in the kindergarten, right? They were praising me. I remember I would just put would stand up on the chair and just say the poem, right? And everybody was like applauding. So I already felt like a superstar. And this is something that's very important to the children, right? When we feel loved, when we feel supported, then we feel more of sense of security and independency at the same time. So for me, I was always in that, like loving bubble. And obviously we still have our experiences as we are growing, and obviously meeting people and learning our lessons, right? But I never felt that I do depend on somebody. Like obviously it's great to be in the relationship, but when relationship didn't work, I wouldn't be like, of course I was crying, I was devastating, but I would never be like, I cannot leave right now, because I was just putting my focus on something. Okay, let me do something that gives me life, right? Either a new hobby or attending some kind of classes, just to kind of break my brain from just focusing on, obviously it's all the habits and we missing the person. Because if we've been with the person for quite some time, obviously it feels like the piece of us was taken away. But I think it's very important to recognize that we have to feel whole ourselves,
Yes.
because that thing, okay, that person is a half of me. No, each
No.
one of us is the whole,
No.
right? Each one of us is whole, and the other person usually complements us, right?
Yes.
So we have to look at it this way and actually be very like proud. Oh, somebody's saying good day beauties. Hey, thanks so much. Hella love you too. So, and this is so true, right? So this is
Yeah.
so true, that to recognize that we are already as the whole, and the other person just there to make our life is more fulfilling, more joyful, more enjoyable. But at the same token, if something doesn't work out, we are not just gonna like lose our shit, right? And just go into this like into this state of depression, right?
Depression. Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah, so
go
it
ahead.
is, you're saying a great point. You can be independent, but in some aspect of the relationship, you can be dependent. So
Total.
it's interesting that how you can look at it. I mean, I was in my past experience, I was, I mean, very independent, but in that love portion of it, I was dependent. And it's all because of my past childhood experience, that okay, in my head, that limiting belief, oh, nobody loves me. So it is, when you look at your limiting beliefs and when you look at your childhood and bring it to today and the interactions and the relationships that you have, you can see your interactions and you can see your behavior based on that. And it's just being conscious about it. It will change if you know that, and if you verbalize it to yourself, being honest, then that's the first step. The second step is to just recognizing everything every time that it comes up, and being able to communicate it with your partner. Oh, this happened, you said I mean, you said this, but in my head, my interpretation was this other thing because of my past experience. So yeah,
You
it's
know, mhm. So true, Al. Because you know what? When we didn't receive that love when we were kids in the childhood, then we are seeking that love from somebody else. And that's what happened with a lot of people who have to heal first before they actually attract a true love, right? Because otherwise it's going to be constant chase. Okay, I have to be with somebody who can show me that love, who can show me that they need me, right? But the
exactly.
point is, right, so it's like this vicious cycle that's repeating itself until we just stop ourselves, shake us, and say, hey, I have to work on myself. I have to heal myself because I can give myself all that love that I'm seeking from the outside. And of course, it's a lot of work and it's easier said than done because we all go through our, like things, right? I also had a lot of, heartaches with love, but it didn't stop me from searching for that love. It's like, hey, it's not the end of the life, right? So I have to attract that ideal person. So that was my always agenda, right? So when we keep our heart open, that's exactly when we attract people.
Yes, yes.
Because if we are ready for that experience, but a lot of people, once they get hurt, they close themselves up and they are not ready because they are too afraid to be hurt, right? So going again to the topic of codependence and independence, and you know what I notice from the man perspective, they do love independent women. They
They
love the women who can take care of themselves. And let me tell you, I love when I receive the support from a man, when a man actually shows up in that masculine side, right? When you know that there is that protection, you feel that security coming from a man. But at the same token, why do we stay in our masculine energy? Because if we have to do something, not something, if we have to actually take care of ourselves on our own, our masculine side shows up more than the feminine side, right? And
Yes,
but the guys, they love, independent women. They love the women who know their value, the women who are not chasing them, because the more people chase, the more women chase men, the more men are running away for the heels, right? So this is
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
that's
the masculine, I mean, the men supposedly hunters. So
yes,
they're the ones
totally,
that, yeah. So they're the ones who are supposedly to go after women. So, but
totally.
in some cases nowadays it has changed a little bit, but I don't think that as a core value of it, it's going to change, because it's in our DNA, it's in our uh, from its ancestry, so you cannot change that. But it's interesting to see how, when you or the feminine part chases, where it goes, the relationship at the end, after even 5 years or 10 years, where would it go versus the one that happens naturally, that the masculine part, goes after the feminine. So it's interesting to see how it works. And sometimes you just do it just unconsciously because of the past experiences, and you wanted to be independent to a way that, because opening your heart has a lot of fear for you because of the experiences. So yeah, as you said, we have to heal ourselves, we have to really really go deep. And it's like peeling onion. Yeah, it's like opening it up and opening it up, and to get to a point that you're so comfortable with who you are, and whatever happens outside of you, it has nothing to do with who you are inside.
Totally, totally. And, it's very important to also maintain your own space, even when you're ready with the partner, right? Because a lot of times, the dynamic is it's like finally when you attract somebody, then it's like, oh, 24/7, your mind is like, okay, we spend time together, but you still have to maintain your life with yourself. Like, hey, I still have things that I'm enjoying doing, and I want to meet my girlfriends. We want to do this, and I want to go to the places I was going, right, to do the activities that I was enjoying, right? So you still have to maintain your independence even when you are together with the partner, because it exactly what makes up that dynamic when people are curious about each other, when people get to miss each other, right? And then when they have the time together, they value and appreciate each other more.
Exactly, exactly. So basically, you said it. It's you need to really go deep, understand who you are, what you want, and really take care of yourself in a way that being independent, but in a loving way, that you can still open up and have somebody come, bring somebody to your life, but don't lose yourself in that process.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally. It's so important. So, like, always strive for that independence. Always have your own interests, your own hobbies, your own life, because you are fully complete person, and
yeah,
another person is there just to complement you and to be, like, there to support each other, to root for each other, to have, like, the life together, right? But at the same token, know that you are all independent person.
yeah. It's a being a your life partner. I mean, you have some, probably some activities that you can do together. There's some activities that you do with your friend, and he does or she does with his friends. And at the end of the day, you come together and you spend time and interact and in a loving way. And that's the time that you're together. But other times you're independent.
Totally, totally, right? So
Yeah.
it's so important to recognize that we have to actually develop that self-sufficiency, right? When we work on that emotional well-being and our self-worth, where we don't like really cling to anybody and
Yes.
communicate openly, right? So we want to be in balance. We want to feel recognized in the relationship. And just remember that each one of us has our own interests. And at the same token, we are there to support each other, whatever each person is doing, right? So by nurturing both individual and partnership, we create that stronger bond. We have that fulfilling relationship that we are actually thriving independently and together.
Yeah. With
Anything
respect.
else? Totally.
Respect. That, yeah, that's a key also. Yes. So you said it all.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome. So, codependency and independence. Please share something in the comments. We would love to know your opinion, because that's why we are doing these lives, just to see what is your take on that, right? Because there is nothing right or wrong. It's all about what do we feel, right? What do
Yeah.
we feel about this topic? Because to each its own. And Hella, it's so great that you're with us. Sending you lots of love and light. And we love you all. And just remember that first, love yourself. Feel that you are whole and complete, independent human being, and you always gonna experience that independence.
Yes, and reach out to us if you have any questions or any topics that you're interested that for us to talk about next week or any other time. Be happy
Yep.
to look into it.
Yes, just let us know. All the best and see you next week.